ever noticed how some people seem to run on pure adrenaline, always moving and always doing, while others seem to glide through the day without even breaking a sweat? Neither one is doing life wrong, they are just wired differently, and today we are going to look at exactly how you are wired. By the end of this video, you have a very clear idea of your personality type, where it comes from, and honestly, this isn't about putting yourself in a box. There are no good or bad types. Every single one has incredible strengths. This video is just about self-awareness, and that's honestly your superpower. If we look at a bit of the history around personality types, especially when we're looking at, the well-known personality types of type A and type B, there was a study done in the 1950s by two cardiologists, and their findings were kind of an accidental discovery in psychology. Mayor Friedman and Rosenman were actually studying heart disease when their upholsterer actually pointed out something very odd about the chairs in the waiting room. They found that there was so much wear on the front of the chairs, on the front of the upholstery and on the arms, and this indicated that the patients waiting for their cardiological assessment were leaning forward in their chair. They weren't sitting back in a relaxed manner. They were leaning forward as if they were ready to spring into action. And this tiny observation launched one of the most famous personality studies ever done. They tracked over 3,000 men across 8.5 years, and they found that behavioural patterns linked to personality type had a huge impact on health outcomes. And that's how the types we know, type A and B, were born. Of course, now with modern psychology, we know that there are more types than just the two A and B. So since then, there has been discoveries of type C and type D personality types, with type C linked to analytical thinking and type D linked to people who have a guarded inner emotional life. And together, all four of these types give us a super insightful way of assessing personality. And like I said at the start of this video, this is not to put yourself in a box, and this is not also to say that there is only 4 personality types. Of course there's not. We're human, we're all different. But these are a good basis for ourselves to have a look at what category we may fall in and what some of our strengths and maybe areas of growth are based on these 4 personality types. So modern psychology does have better models for assessing personality than these 4 types. But most researchers will say that these 4 types are a great starting point. Not the whole story, but a fantastic tool for self-reflection. So let's look now at type A, the driven achiever. Who are they? They're competitive, ambitious, energetic, and time-conscious. They tend to be natural leaders who set high standards for themselves and inspire the action in others. They also tend to feel this really strong sense of urgency, that feeling of there's always something to be done. They're superpowers. They have incredible drive and work ethic. They perform brilliantly under pressure, and deadlines fuel their ability to work. Type A people are also generally very goal-driven. They won't just dream, they will execute and take action. When we look at their growth edge, or an ability for them to improve and grow within this personality type, the biggest growth opportunity is learning to enjoy the process, stop and slow down. The urgency is the thing that makes them so productive, yet it also stops them from enjoying life in the moment. So their growth can come from channeling intention behind the actions they take, so they really feel grounded into the decisions they're making and the work they're putting in towards whatever goal they may have. So if you are a type A, your ambition is genuinely a gift. And to get to the next level, it isn't about doing more, it's about setting a better intention behind what you're using your ambition for. And that, my friends, is when a type A will become truly unstoppable. Looking at type B, which we call the easygoing creative. So who are they? They are relaxed, flexible, imaginative, and patient. They are comfortable with ambiguity. They don't need a rigid plan, system or process to feel secure. And it's important to note that a type B isn't a lazy personality type. They're just not so caught up in the hustle. Let's look at their superpowers. Genuinely enjoyable to be around. Type A tends to be a bit more of a rigid personality type, while a type B can be a lot more fun and easygoing. Type Bs are very adaptable and resilient, coming back to their need not to have a set rigid structure. They can kind of go with the flow a little bit easier than type A could. Type Bs are often very creative because their unhurried need to do things allows them to create space for them to have deep thought and deep creativity, time to really think about things and allow their energy to flow creatively in that positive way. And type Bs are also extremely strong collaborators. When we look at the contrast between a type A and a type B, we kind of see that a type A really wants to be in control and be the sole driver of the person doing the actions, while a type B is happy to collaborate and contribute, but working alongside others a lot easier. So type B's growth opportunity is really around urgency and follow through. The natural ease is a gift, and their ability to be a lot more relaxed with deadlines is a gift, but when we look at their ability to execute or follow through, it is lacking compared to a type A. And this isn't necessarily important all the time, but there's definitely cases when deadlines are important, and a type B may take this opportunity to really hone in and execute and finish whatever creative project they're doing. So if you're a type B, your ability to stay grounded is something that people genuinely will envy. So your next level is applying that energy with a little more intention. That's when your ideas stop just being ideas and you can really jump into action. Now, looking a little bit more at the lesser known personality types, which is type C, the thoughtful analyst. Who are they? They're highly detail orientated. They're logical, precise, and thorough. They will research everything before deciding. A gut feeling will not be enough for a type C person. They want data, evidence, and proof. A type C is deeply reliable. If they commit to something, it will be done, and it will be done right. Their superpowers. They are exceptional problem solvers. They catch everything that everyone else misses. They play outstanding roles in accuracy. Fields like law, medicine, engineering, finance. They are prepared and thorough. They are rarely caught off guard. And their careful thinking protects them from being caught out in mistakes. Type C's growth edge is around decisiveness and self-trust. So we know that a type C loves data, loves some evidence, loves to do some research. But sometimes there's something really important about trusting yourself and how you feel about something and executing based on that. Data and information is a fantastic tool in making an appropriate decision. But if something doesn't feel right to you, you're probably not aligned with that decision. So the biggest downfall I'm seeing with a type C is not being able to trust your own intuition when making a choice about something that's important in your life. If you are a type C, your attention to detail is incredibly rare and incredibly valuable. Your next level is backing yourself and believing in yourself. You have done the research, you already know it, and trust that. And lastly, looking at our type D, our deeply loyal empath personality type. The D actually stands for distressed, but if we reframe that instantly, these type D personalities, they actually feel so deeply. They have rich inner emotional lives, and they tend to hold things close within them as opposed to broadcasting. They're often reserved in social settings, maybe more of an introvert type of personality, and not because they don't care, but it's because they care a lot. They're superpowers. They know what others miss, and they genuinely feel what people around them are going through. Type D personalities are deeply loyal, so when they commit to you as a partner or a friend, they mean it completely. So type D's growth edge is definitely around self-compassion and expression. We know that a type D has a lot of inner feelings. Their ability to express that may not be there. So learning to extend to themselves the same care and thought and emotion that they give to others is really the growth edge here for a type D. Let's look at which type you are. Most people will be a mix of all four types. You might be a type A at work or a type B at home. There's no contradiction in you being multiple of those four personality categories because that's you being a unique and individual human being. So that's completely normal. And this is not, like I said at the start of the video, to put you into a box, but more so to have an understanding of where your strengths currently are and where your growth opportunities currently are. Because once we're aware of where we can grow, we become absolutely unstoppable and we can play to our strengths even further than what we're currently doing. So, when a deadline is coming, do you feel energized or calm? Do you prefer to research everything before deciding? Or go with your gut? In social situations, do you tend to hold back how you really feel? When things go wrong, do you want to fix it fast or understand it deeply first? Whatever type you land on, it's not a verdict, it's not putting you in a box, it's a starting point. And understanding yourself is literally the first step in showing up as the best version of yourself. Now let's talk a little bit about why all of this actually even matters. So at work, a type A will thrive in leadership and high-stake roles. When they channel drive intentionally, they become transformational. A type B at work is the glue in the creative and collaborative teams. Their steadiness brings out the best in high-pressure colleagues. At work, a type C is the person you want reviewing the contracts or stress testing the plan. A type C is absolutely indispensable. At work, a type D is often underestimated but brings empathy, loyalty, and careful thinking that higher-profile colleagues quietly rely on. And when we look at relationships and the personality types, it's super important that we not only understand our own personality type, but we also understand the personality types and the strength and growth areas of others around us. This is so important in building relationships with people who may have differing personality types, and it will really give us an insight into how they think and the intention behind their actions. So if you have a friend who usually takes forever to reply, they're probably a type C personality. They're processing the data and thinking carefully about their response. The partner who pulls back when they're stressed, probably a type D. They have this deep inner emotional workings going. Once you start seeing people more through this personality lens and having a better understanding of why they act the way they do, it's really hard to take things personally, which is a great thing. This is such a beneficial way to build your relationship. And this might be one of the most useful tools or findings that psychology personality studies has given. And when we look up for your own growth, why this matters, self-awareness doesn't change who you are, but it gives you more choices about how you're going to show up. And that can be applied to everything. So to recap, type A will bring drive, type B will bring the calm, type C will bring the precision, and type D will bring the depth. And every single one of those things is needed in the world. This was never about labeling yourself, this was about understanding yourself. And when you do that, you stop apologizing for the way you act and start embracing your personality type and your strengths. I would love it if you dropped your type in the comments below. Big reveal, I'm definitely a strong type A, but of course with blended sections of every personality type in me. I'm sure you're the same. Make sure you like and subscribe this video for more content on improving your life, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.